Have to be 11 major championship finals on the global stage, and he's won 10 of those 11. Brad Scott, who has 7 major championship medals, 5 silver, 2 bronze, has been the man closest to him down through the years. Will this be the day for the man out of Western Australia, or will it be more gold for Dr. Michael McKILLOP? Another brilliant crowd today, 30,000, perhaps more. Bottom tier, just about full. And the south end behind the finish line. Ready to see another great final and another great champion crowned. Or maybe recrowned in the case of Michael McKILLOP. 3 times the Paralympic champion, double 800, 1500 London 2012. Won the 8 in Beijing. 7 World Championship golds and 1 silver, that coming from 2006 for Michael McKILLOP. Even Espinova, the only athlete from the Virgin Islands here, only the second of all time after Lee Frawley, the equestrian rider 2 years ago. 8th in the 1500 meters final in Doha. Bronze in the 4 in the Pan Ams for Mariano Dominguez of Argentina. Brad Scott, silver behind McKILLOP in 2012 and 08 and 2015. Could he get the gold for Australia? Hafid AHARAK of Morocco, 5th in the 1500 meters final in Lyon in 2013 and 6th at London 2012. For Canada, Liam Stanley, his first major championship as an athlete. He's an international footballer. His nation didn't qualify. His coach said try the athletics, and he qualified. Madjid of Algeria, 4th in the 8 and the 15 in London. Bronze in the 15 behind McKILLOP and Scott in Doha. And Shayne Dobson from Moncton and New Brunswick in Canada, 4th in the 1500 meters and 12th in the 800 in Doha at the Worlds. So many athletes here who have succeeded in the past. Scott regularly on the podium, McKILLOP regularly at the top. Underway in the final of the men's 1500 meters, T37. Sometimes the T38s have been mixed in this as well, which is a stronger category of cerebral palsy athlete, but it hasn't mattered to McKILLOP, because he's gone off and beaten them all. DOBSON, DJEMAI, STANLEY, AHARAK, Scott, DOMINGUEZ, ESPINOSA and Michael McKILLOP in this final. It's really a strong start straight away. Although DJEMAI has got out too quickly, we'll have to consider. It's good to see Ivan Espinosa here, the first ever track athlete to qualify for a Paralympic Games. Madjid DJEMAI, bronze in the 1500 meters in those World Championships in Doha, where conditions were knocking on 40 Celsius every day, despite it well being out of summer. Scott and McKILLOP side by side, as they have been so often down through the years. 3 laps to go. They know each other's games so well.
They do, and side by side they go. I wonder if they can just dictate the race. I don't think they'll be too worried about DJEMAI out in front. It's not likely he can continue that pace. And now McKILLOP just eases a bit away from Australia's Brad Scott. And we had AHARAK of Morocco, also reasonably handily placed in the red shirt there. But Scott's just let a couple get away from him, and McKILLOP in second place. And they're just starting to move up on our front runner, DJEMAI.
Yep. He's decided to put the foot down a bit, Scott, and McKILLOP's decided to put the foot down on DJEMAI as well. DJEMAI still leads. McKILLOP in second place. In third is Liam Stanley, who was originally expected to be playing here in the international football. But he's worked well on the inside, and on the outside it's Hafid AHARAK of Morocco. Brad Scott's in 5th place. Got about 850 meters to go. DJEMAI for Algeria. Now McKILLOP's up on his shoulder. Stanley, AHARAK, 2 laps to go. Scott is in 5th place. Dobson in 6th for Canada. And McKILLOP now will decide to make a move and take the lead in this men's 1500 meters final with around 700 to go. He's come up alongside DJEMAI. The pace has slowed, and our leader with 700 remaining is Michael McKILLOP, and in second place is Liam Stanley.
6 seem to be in it, and Brad Scott at the trail of the field and his main rival at the front. Michael McKILLOP is dictating terms now. Our runaway front runner AHARAK has come back to the field, and so it's McKILLOP's, you would think, to lose from here. He's such a powerful runner over the last lap and a half. Expect him to do the job as they come into the home straight.
Well, McKILLOP's in the lead, and it's Stanley on his shoulder who's put in a great performance so far. And the man from Victoria in British Columbia, well, they will have been roused out of the beds early this morning. We're at the bell, and McKILLOP has got Stanley on his shoulder. DJEMAI is in third place. AHARAK is in fourth. In fifth for Canada's DOBSON. McKILLOP, a very strong club runner as well. He's won in the IAAF circuit regularly. He's won races in the likes of the Morton Games in Dublin. McKILLOP's leading this, but he hasn't shaken off Liam Stanley yet. He's got a lot of stamina, this Canadian. McKILLOP's having to fight very, very hard. A real battle for the gold for him this time. McKILLOP is holding on. McKILLOP keeping the lead. Stanley in second place. Now he begins to put the hammer down. And Michael McKILLOP, who's been in this situation so many times before, the 3 times Paralympic champion across Beijing and in London, leads Liam Stanley heading into the final straight. And Rio de Janeiro is going to hear the Irish national anthem. It's Michael McKILLOP heading for the line, and for the 3rd Paralympic Games, it will be gold for McKILLOP. Brilliant running from McKILLOP once more. He's the champion on the treble. 4:12.12. Stanley, a brilliant silver for Canada. 3rd is DJEMAI for Algeria. 4th for Morocco will be AHARAK. 5th for Canada will be DOBSON. And 6th for Australia will be Brad Scott. No podium for Brad this time. And a lot of hard yards being done. ESPINOSA in 8th. DOMINGUEZ will be in 7th. Michael McKILLOP gets the acclaim of the engine now in Rio de Janeiro. Paralympic champion again. It's very hot here, as in 7th place. DOMINGUEZ crosses the line, and ESPINOSA in 8th. The first ever track and field athlete from the Virgin Islands to compete at the Paralympic Games. Only the 2nd Paralympian from his country ever. He's gonna cross the line now. He's done it, and he's won his own race. 30,000 acclaiming him, and acclaiming the great, the one, the only, Michael McKILLOP.
And Michael McKILLOP, a master over 800 and 1500. Scott, one of his main rivals, just couldn't keep with him today. It was a great race offered up by Liam Stanley, but I just felt with about 300 to go, Stanley had a look over his shoulder to see how far back 3rd and 4th were, because the pace was starting to be applied by Michael McKILLOP, and that's when the issue was settled, really. McKILLOP tore away from Liam Stanley, who had applied some good pressure through the middle stages of the race, but Michael McKILLOP is just too good, too strong for too long, and he won it convincingly. Didn't leave too much out there. He was exhausted, so we had DJEMAI racing away with an early lead. He drifted back to the pack early on. McKILLOP and Australia's Brad Scott ran side by side. Strangely, Brad Scott just wasn't up to the pace today. Often on the podium, not in Rio in the 1500. McKILLOP threatened to own this race. Stanley there from Canada. Shoulder to shoulder they went for about a lap and a half. But as the finish line approached, he was all on his own. Michael McKILLOP in 4:12.11.
He's an Irish national sporting hero, Michael McKILLOP. He and Jason Smith are roommates, as they were in London, as they have been at a number of the World and European Championships. And if one wins a gold, the other has to do the same. Smith did, and now McKILLOP has. Gold for Ireland again. 4:12.11. Stanley, brilliant. Silver for Canada, 4:16.72. DJEMAI, the bronze for Algeria, 4:17.